What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Batter's Eye. It is a big week. We have a couple episodes being filmed this week, and this is the first one. And it is with one of the best players for next year's draft class. And if you guys don't know the name now, you guys will in just a little bit of time. Fall ball's coming up for him soon, and the spring season is just going to be a big year for you. Without further ado, though, I'm going to have you introduce yourself because you could do it a lot better than I can.
What's up, guys? Tyler Bremner from UC Santa Barbara. Yeah, I'm from San Diego. I just appreciate you having me on here. Appreciate the time.
Yeah, and of course, I'll have you on as many times as you want. Feel feel free to come back. Um, but yeah, so like you said, West Coast guy, and you're playing at UC Santa Barbara. It's not to say an unknown school, but I think it's definitely not a blue blood for college baseball or college
Yeah,
sports, and not many people really recognize the abbreviations too. A lot of people don't recognize the logo, the abbreviations when you're seeing it on a broadcast.
yeah.
And recently, the last couple of years, you guys have begun to build a really good baseball program there. And this year hosted a regional and were undefeated at home up until that point. And so you're really getting some attention to the program. But talk about what it's like being out west, being at Santa Barbara, and maybe some things that guys just won't know about the school and what they have there to offer.
Yeah, I chose Santa Barbara just mostly because of location and pitching development itself. I was not that highly recruited at a high school, and I also committed there when I was a sophomore in high school. So I definitely didn't really see out all my options at the time, but I'm definitely happy with where I chose. It was just a great spot. Like the vibe is obviously way different than those powerhouse like SEC schools, but I mean, the pitching development is very good at Santa Barbara. Coach Chex does a great job with his guys and getting everyone into a routine and get everyone acclimated right when you get there. Also, just the people itself on the team are amazing. Like a lot of the guys that got drafted this year, I was super close with, and they were able to kind of take me in as someone who liked baseball for sure, but wasn't that like motivated to want to, go above and beyond. And they kind of helped me stay on the right path. And I feel like the people there and the environment has definitely been a huge factor of where I am right now. So, that's another reason why I even stayed in the first place. Obviously, the transfer portal is like a huge thing now, and NIL is crazy. But I just love where I'm at, and I love like how well I've been doing and how supportive everyone is around me. So it's a great spot. I love Santa Barbara.
Yeah, and something has been said about a lot of the players that play there because you don't see a lot of guys from Santa Barbara enter the transfer portal, and you see a lot of West Coast guys now coming and committing there, which a lot of the times before, you see a lot more guys going to the USCs, the LSUs, the
Mhm.
Arizonas, and other West Coast schools. And then if they make it there, they find their way through the portal and transferring to Santa Barbara. And now it's a bit of a culture shift. And
Yeah,
um, I've been following college baseball for about 3, 4 years now. The last 2 years I've been really into it, and that's when I've started to really notice it. Um, so yeah, and then this year you had the amazing year, obviously finishing as the 14th seed, or 13th seed. I'm not. I think
around there, somewhere around
yeah,
there.
you were one of the two. You guys were right there, and you were undefeated at home going into regionals. And just what is the atmosphere like on a home weekend in Santa Barbara? And don't share too much because, like I said before, I'm off camera, but I'm planning to get some big West Coast trips in this year, and Santa Barbara is definitely up there on my list. It's especially after the things you guys did this year. But what is the atmosphere like just playing at home there? Because that's crazy not to lose a single game there until the new.
Yeah, I mean, the home series were definitely the most fun, and the guys like it's just such a positive vibe there. Like the energy is just it's so good, and everyone like obviously we know we're undefeated at home, but no one's really focused on wins. Like it's so it's so just like a trying to get better as a team mindset and trying to win every pitch rather than every game. So, I mean, no one's really getting too antsy about like the undefeated season, but we definitely know what we had going, and we definitely knew it was a special season for us. So,
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was very special. It was great. And then unfortunately ended in regionals. Not
yeah,
gonna, not gonna put too much stock into that, obviously, but you guys have a lot of returning pieces going into next year. You picked up some good pieces in the portal as well. So if you have anything to say to whether it's fans, media members, poll rankers, or anything for these yeah, whoa, I cannot speak right now. The college baseball media guys that are looking at what they want to put stock into for your season this year and as a program, is there anything you have to say to them to maybe prove them wrong? Because after that regional loss, they might bump you guys down a couple
yeah.
spots. I don't think it's warranted, but I want to hear it from someone who plays for them and someone who has a little bit more knowledge about the team than I do.
I mean, I think you definitely just have to look at our arms. We're always going to be a like pitch kind of dominant school just because the way Chex runs things, and he's obviously our head coach and our pitching coach, and he's a very has a very good reputation. So all like good pitchers on the West Coast like to come to Santa Barbara. But I mean, we lost a few arms maybe in our rotation, but our younger guys, and I mean, obviously I'm going to be leading the staff. I mean, we're going to have a great pitching staff. Also, Hudson Barrett's going to come back. He was like the freshman pitcher of the year in the Big West, and he just was out last year with TJ. He's going to be healthy, so we're definitely going to have a very good staff again. We
Yeah.
did lose a lot of hitters, so I can't really tell you how the new hitters are going to come in, but I'm pretty confident that we're going to be able to swing it a little too.
Yeah, and you touched on it. Your head coach is also your pitching coach, and you guys play a very pitching dominant style of baseball, which nowadays in college baseball is pretty rare. You see a lot of teams that just like to swing for the fences and hit a lot. So, what's some success that you guys have found with that, and why has it been so successful? Because a lot of people, the knock that they had on you guys going into, you know, games that mattered last year down the stretch was that though this team could pitch, they can't really hit. And why does it not matter that even, if the hitting not necessarily lacks, but if the pitching is leading your team, why does it not matter in a game that's so based off of hitting the ball and so hitting dominant and offense dominant?
I'm not going to say it doesn't matter because it matters, but um, good pitching majority of the time is going to beat good hitting, and if you have if you have a staff full of three good starters and a deep pen, like that's going to be a huge how do I say this? Huge, benefit compared to the other teams that only have a couple good arms, maybe going to Omaha. Because if you want to make it all the way, you're going to have to play a lot of games and use a lot of pitchers. Like you can have a couple good arms, but you're going to get down the road and you're going to have to use those guys who maybe haven't thrown too much. But I feel like we had a really deep pen, a really good starting rotation as well. Like we had a good 8 or 9 guys that could probably start on a bunch of schools. I feel like Chex does a really good job at obviously recruiting in general, and like all the pitchers that came in just wanted to work, didn't really care about where they were going to throw, and they more were just caring about helping out the team as a whole. And I feel like as the season went on, it's just like all the starters were able to play their part, and then maybe some guys that were starting before and moved to the pen were able to thrive there, and some guys that were in the pen moved to the rotation, and everyone just played whatever checks asked us to do, and I feel like it just worked out well for us.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, a lot of moving pieces. You were one of them last season as you
Yeah,
appeared in games from both the pen, and then obviously towards the end of the year, you were starting more games,
yeah,
and you found success in both facets. Obviously, I think it's safe to say that you are going to be a starter moving forward, and you like that role more, and you found a little more success in there, throwing a complete game in one of your three starts last year, really
yeah.
settling in pretty quickly and getting the reins um, quite handily. But what has led to the development that you said you had? Because as you said, out of high school, you weren't very highly recruited, and and I mean, I'm not gonna. say that I'm not, and it's not a knock in any way, and I'm not going to say that this is a bad thing anyways, but obviously I think especially with the publicity Santa Barbara gets and everything that you're not one of the most highly touted guys or highly seen guys in the
Yeah.
country, even though you probably are one of the best, if not the best arms in the country right now. And so what's that kind of like? A lot of it is behind the scenes, obviously, because of this, but many people haven't really seen the rise you had. And what's that been like, especially with the development that you're saying you're getting at Santa Barbara and, with the roles that you've been trying out and obviously succeeding in?
Yeah. Um, I've definitely always been a little more under the radar, like as a name than, maybe, I don't know, scouts have seen me to be or something like that. But definitely my name is more known in the baseball world than the media. But
Yeah.
um, I'd just say a lot of the success is just credited to getting me into the right routines and um, kind of putting me in an environment where I can just stick to a plan. Like in high school, I kind of just didn't really know what I was doing, just going to practice, then going home and, playing video games, whatever. It's like, I feel like at Santa Barbara, I've got a lot more structured routine, like what to do when I get to the field, what to do off the field. I'm also going to a trainer out there in the off season who helps me. Like he's really good. I mean, I put on like 15, 20 pounds with him last summer and I'm gonna go back to him next week. So I'm excited to do that. But yeah, it's just been a better baseball environment to keep me locked in on what I need to do to get better.
Yeah. And like you said, I mean, you said your teammates there got you from someone who enjoyed baseball, but maybe wasn't all there, wasn't all in, kind of just seeing what you had and appreciating the college route and what's going on at Santa Barbara to now someone who was able to really find themselves, find their identity in the game of baseball and realize that the next step has a place for you in it. Obviously, as that as the years have gone by, you've realized just how much potential there is at that level. And as you said, your name's very well known in the baseball world, and it's only gaining publicity now as with this draft that's come by, you are one of the top names on every prospect list, every way too early mock draft and everything for 2025. You're one of the first arms off the board in every single one of them. And as that not necessarily publicity, but as that value has been rightly shown and rightly place, like what does that kind of do for you on the mental side of things, as you said that now you've really honed yourself in and been able to lock yourself in on the things that really matter both on and off the field?
Um, Dude, I'm excited to see that stuff. Like, it's a difference between having an ego about it and just giving it more confidence that like you are the guy and
Yeah.
you should be that guy going forward. And I mean, I I feel like USA did a lot for me in that aspect just because I was kind of a under the radar guy a little bit. Like I'm sure scouts knew who I was, but maybe haven't actually seen me throw. And yeah, I just went out there, had a couple good outings and met all the guys. That was a really fun experience to just meet all those top prospects too, because they're all mostly playing on the East Coast and I've never played against them or met them, but it was cool. It was a cool experience to meet all those guys, and then seeing my name kind of go up there is great. But at the end of the day, it really means nothing. So I just gotta use it as a confidence boost. But I gotta keep my head on straight with this next season coming up because that's what really matters.
Yeah, of course. And I think something that also this has done is really push your name out there to more scouts and more guys in the baseball world that hadn't seen you before and they've seen you now. And I mean, if we're being completely honest, I have a lot of friends in college baseball and some of them are on the West Coast just through guys that I met. And I did not know your name really until right after the regionals when I was talking to Mason DeVille on Oregon.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he
I played
said,
with him on CBA for a little back in high school, actually. So
Mason, yeah, Mason's the guy. He's one of my first ever guests, and he actually we were talking about because I had watched the whole regionals. I was following everything, and I asked him who you were because I saw you throwing, and I was like, "Shit, this guy's pretty good." And
Yeah,
he said it, yeah, and he said it best. He said it's going to be a name to watch, and obviously right after that, you started shooting up boards, and like you said, Team USA helped you with that as well, and it's all a domino effect, and it's just
that's
kind of
funny.
fun because
That's
yeah,
funny
go
you
ahead.
say that just because like I specifically remember before the regional, like, or my start at least, that I knew I was facing Oregon, and I knew Mason was the lead off. I think maybe I faced him a few times in high school, but obviously we're completely different players now. Um, I just remember because I watched back like their first game against SD, and I saw
Yeah,
he was just, sorry, my dogs are back here. I saw
all
he was
good.
just taking hacks like first pitch on heaters, and I was just talking to coach, and I was like, I'm not gonna get beat first pitch of the game. Like that's just my confidence will go down. Like it'll be a rough start. Like if I just give him a heater, like a get me over heater, I'm like I'm throwing change up first pitch, and then coach is like, all right, and I just remember throwing it, and he took like a hard hack, like he thought it was a heater, and he just like nodded his head and smiled at me, and I just thought that was funny because I knew he was thinking in the dugout, this guy throws hard first pitch heater, I'm all over it, and then I kind of just got in his head after that. I feel like, and he didn't really know what I was throwing. So
That's funny. Yeah, no, and I mean, he found a lot of success in that, as you know,
yeah,
we all
I mean
saw. I mean, he hit
that's a good
bombs.
way to do it. Lead off. I mean, you're getting a heater 90% of the time.
Yeah,
So
and he hit bombs this year
yeah,
off of heaters
yeah,
for the
he
most
did.
part. I
He
think
did.
most of his home runs came off of first pitch fastballs. So
Yeah.
if he has that approach, obviously that's a good game plan. And that's something else I want to bring up to you. I mean, going into so I guess for it's different going into starts than going in from the bullpen. But how is it changing your game plan and adjusting that as you pitch throughout the season because your role changes and just everything is different. Obviously, as well, later into the season, the level of competition and the intensity increases. So that's also affecting the game plan. But what's it like? I guess the difference for you just going into a start day or coming out of the pen in a spot where you know your team's going to need three, four, maybe 5 innings out of you.
Maybe the only real difference is just conserving energy. I mean, I definitely ran into that problem freshman year, and I think that's why I got hit a lot in my starts was just because I would just run out of gas. Like I'd be trying to blow up the radar gun early and trying to show my best stuff, and then I'd maybe be like 4 to 5 for an inning or two, and then by the fifth, I'd be like 2 to 3, and like maybe that's not the slowest heater, but when they're seeing 4 to 5 the whole time through and seeing the same guy throwing 3 miles an hour slower, like they're gonna be all over that. They're college hitters, you know. So um, I feel like my training in the off season gave me more endurance throughout the starts, but also just kind of knowing that it's a marathon and you can't just blow all your pitches in the first inning, especially when the team like in a regional or something when the team needs you to have length in a start. So
Yeah.
yeah, just conserving some energy. Maybe if I come out of the pen in the eighth or the ninth, I'm just giving it everything I have for 2 innings because I know that's all I need to do for us. So that's probably the only big difference. I really like to attack the hitters the same, whether it's a start or close. Like um, I just love throwing all my pitches whenever, and I love throwing like maybe not traditional pitch sequencing. Like if it's a 2-0 count and you're like a 3, 4, 5 hitter, like you're probably not getting a fastball from me. And I'm just trying to keep them off balance and throw them whatever I want whenever I feel. There's really no game plan. It's just like if you look at most of my splits throughout the season, I'm probably throwing 40% heaters and 30% change and 30% sliders. So I'm just mixing it up whenever.
Yeah, and I think that's something that is super advanced out of such a young player like yourself. And something that I want to touch on with that because a lot of even in even in the low levels of pro ball, you don't really see that much. And who taught you that? Because that's interesting. Did
Yeah,
you kind of just figure that out yourself as you battled through? games or starts or wherever that may be, because that's super like high IQ baseball to just have that untraditional sequencing that I mean
Yeah,
everyone really learns it that way.
that's literally just me, and, like, Chex has kinda learned to play into that with his pitch calling, but, yeah, I feel like, honestly, that was part of maybe some of the reason I was getting hit around my, freshman year because the pitch calling was kinda traditional, like, hard righty style, like, "Let's go heaters," and then try and get him out with a slider, and I feel like that just wasn't playing with my strengths. Obviously, I have a good fastball. It's hard and it carries, but I mean, my best pitch is my changeup. My
Mhm.
slider has gotten a lot better, but at the time, like my freshman year, it wasn't great. So I feel like I was trying to throw the wrong pitch often, and I feel like I got a lot more confident when I started just shaking off what coach wanted to throw. A lot of the guys on the team don't really like doing that because they're like, oh, it's checks and like whatever says goes, which he's a smart coach. I know that. And I'm not trying to say like I know better, but it's just like when you have a feeling that something's going to work, I've had a lot of success just going to that and not listening to what anyone else says. Like it's 2-0 and he wants to go fastball outside. And I'm just feeling it like he's in swing mode. I'm going to change up. So I shake to change up. It's like I'm shaking a lot of times per outing and I'm just kind of throwing whatever I think is going to work. I think I've been throwing a lot of right on right changeups recently, which is just, it's like no one sees it. And it's just like,
Yeah.
I feel like every time I throw it, it has success. So I just like to keep going to that one, honestly, instead of like a slider that might break in the middle of the zone.
I gotta get you a post on CM pitching here. I'm about to text him. I'm about to text him after this and clip that and send it to him and be like, hey, this is the guy you gotta start posting. King of changeups right there. He loves his changeups.
Yeah, yeah, it's a great pitch.
Yeah, talk to I will get you two in contact.
Yeah, I love it.
He is the king of changeups. He has his changeup book. If you guys haven't, go buy that. I'll put it in the description. There you get some promo, Cole. Shout out to you. And I mean, there's so much that goes into just I think just going into a start and kind of composing yourself and doing that. And so, what's the pregame routine like? Maybe even the day before routine like, just to kind of clear your head because you seem very level-headed, very composed, and very confident in your
Yeah.
abilities and both your ability to just battle through whatever situation comes up in a game. So, take me through what it's like, maybe even the night or day before the start and the day of the start.
The day before throwing wise is just I'll just play catch and then I'll throw a few like off the mound, but it'll be like a short box. So I'm just trying to get feel of my pitches and just kind of lock everything in. But nothing that I'm gonna feel the next day. And I
Yeah.
especially in season when I'm starting, I kind of prioritize my rest and I don't like to throw too heavy during the week or anything like that. Like after the starts, I'll take a day off and then I'll maybe just get my arm moving a little, but I won't really throw with much intent at all until my next start. But from a mental side, I feel like I've always been pretty good at keeping my social life different from baseball. I was definitely going through a really hard time last season, like mentally and off the field, but I just feel like I used baseball as almost an escape. And it's like, I really have nothing to lose out here. This is all just fun right now. And I'm in a good spot. And like, I just know that like, I just have the confidence that I'm better than whoever I'm facing when I'm out there. So that's really just how you have to think. Everyone gets nervous, but something that's actually really helped me is that so when I'm nervous pregame, I let myself feel that. I'm not trying to push that away or trying to, bury that or anything. But when I get out there, like before I throw my first pitch, I just take like one big deep breath and then I just look at my catcher and then I like from there I just let it all go and I just pitch. So I mean, that's been really helping me and I feel like, I've always been kind of a level-headed guy anyway. It's not the highs aren't too high and the lows aren't too low. So
Yeah. And no, and for everyone watching, I'll take a second and address this because like all of that, mental health, everything surrounding that, just it's not even not necessarily not even a joke. I don't know how to even word this properly, but
No,
it's not something to be taken lightly.
no,
And
it's real. It's real.
as an athlete, as a student, just with the schedules that you guys have, with the lack of time to really even care for yourself, for your bodies, for your family, for anybody, really. It's just school, baseball, and that goes for all college athletes. That goes for everyone. Um,
Yeah.
it's so hard. So if there's any way, anything that you could find as an escape, any way you could find, a way to take care of yourself, be there for yourself, try and find someone to be there for you, whether that's something like baseball or that's a person, just, try and do that. And I'm glad that you brought that up and even mentioned that because I don't know. I don't know how, much of a talkative guy you are. I don't see you on many podcasts and stuff. And so, I mean, I'm glad you brought that up on this one
Of
so we can
course. I
address
mean,
that.
it's real, man. You never really know what the players are actually thinking. So they're just people too. I try to remind myself that even when I'm say I go and face, Texas A&M, like these guys are nervous. They're just people too. Like everyone feels the same things when they go out there and play. So
Hmm. Yeah. And so moving forward, I want to talk about a little bit of what the draft process has been like for you. Obviously, for those of you who don't know, it starts about a year and a half, 2 years before you really get drafted. That's when you really start talking with teams, having preliminary talks, meetings, workouts, all that stuff. So, what has that really been like for you, if that started? And obviously, I know guys can't really speak too much about it, but with what you can really talk about, what has it been like for you to start sitting down with some teams and talking and working out, showing tape, and getting
yeah.
yourself out there and through that process?
I honestly haven't really started it. From my experiences, at least how it works at Santa Barbara, like a lot of the guys that got drafted this year had a bunch of their meetings in the fall and like preseason. So I'm sure I'll go through that whole process starting. I actually had my first call today with a scout, so that was like pretty exciting just to get back into it because I was into that in high school a bit, and I was kind of considering if I would even go to Santa Barbara or not. I'm obviously really glad I did, but no, it's an exciting time to talk about those things and um, just kind of look forward to what the future could be like. But it's also easy to get caught up in that because you're kind of just looking past what you actually need to do in the season to make that happen. So it's a mix of being excited about it, but trying to stay focused for the season.
Hmm. Yeah, I get that, of course. And so obviously there's a couple of things that you probably are looking forward to in regards to both the season and the draft process. Talk about just some of those things, maybe some goals and things that you're looking forward to in the next year, um, up until I guess that big draft date, because from there there's no telling where things can really go. But just in general.
Um, I'm excited for the next season, just like to be kind of like the older guy and to be one of the guys that everyone looks up to. Because I mean, I was this last year, obviously I had a good season. I was a big part on the staff, but a lot of the older guys who got drafted, it kind of like ran the staff and ran the team. That's kind of how it worked. But with them gone, I feel like a lot of that role is going to be put on me. So I'm just excited to just start playing again with all the guys, all the returners, and meet all the new guys as well, the freshmen, and kind of take them under my wing and show them how things are done in Santa Barbara. That's probably the biggest thing I'm looking forward to. Honestly, I haven't thought too heavy about what I'm looking forward to in draft and stuff. When that gets
Long
closer, I'll think
time.
about it. But yeah, I'm not thinking about it too hard right now.
Yeah. So like you talked about, you have the slider, the fastball, and the changeup. I'm gonna go if you have a baseball with you.
Oof. You want me to grab one? I can't. Oh, there's one right here. I got one.
was gonna say, if you want to grab one, I do like with some of the guys I do with pitchers, I like to run through the grips in case there's anything different.
I
And
feel
some
like
guys have some.
it's pretty stock, but the change is a little different. I just
Okay.
throw a four seam. It's like normal
Yeah.
four seam, pretty stock. And then this is my slider. It's like it's on the horseshoe, but I kind of like. Sorry, camera's kind of high. I kind of like some guys throw it right on this seam, and some guys throw it like on the actual horseshoe.
Yeah.
I kind of like it like in between, if you
Okay.
can see that.
So like on
More
both.
wrapped around, like on the corner of the seam, like right here.
So like this.
Yeah, kind of. But like, I like to put my middle finger on the seam, not like not
We go here.
more there. But that's like, it's had a lot of success for me. I would like it to be like a sweeper, but I just can't. Like when I throw, it's just gyro and hard. But I'm not really trying to change what works. So it's been a lot better than it's been in the past. So I've been liking it. And then the changeup is like it's on the horseshoe here, and then I tuck my pinky under it,
Ooh. So
and then
like
I get like the circle over here.
so like that. Like
Both fingers I like on the two seams of the horseshoe, so it's right here.
so we go like there, kind
Yeah,
of. Okay.
kinda. And then
That's I
circles kind of.
like it.
I don't really like my pointer touching the baseball either. I like it like resting on my thumb, and
Okay.
then
So pointer
the
resting on the
pinky,
thumb.
the pinky is definitely the weirdest part. How it's like under the
Tucked
ball
under.
here, but
Just I think it would just gets more spin maybe.
it does get a lot of spin for a change, and it just helps me feel it come off like just these two fingers instead of having this pinky kind of like here, and it kind of like maybe blocks some like spin or pronation. So I don't
I
know.
like
I've
it.
been doing it like that for a while, and it's one of those things where I show it to people, and they're like, "That feels like I can never throw a ball like that." But I've just like thrown it for a while, so it's like it feels so natural to me now.
Yeah, I don't know if I could like get one off without spiking it like that.
Yeah.
I might be
Uh,
able to, but probably not. And if it does get off, I don't think it really is going to do much. But but
yeah, that's
it's
the only
very
one
interesting.
that's pretty unique, I'd say.
Yeah. And so obviously you think your changeup is your best pitch. But now here's where I'm going to get into some fun questions. And this is
Yeah.
what I like to call rapid fire. I'm just going to give you like a couple quick easy questions. The first one is going to be the hardest one. You're we're going to put you in this scenario. You're facing it could be any MLB player you want, your favorite, whatever it is.
All right.
My favorite, Aaron Judge. I'm
All
gonna put
right.
him in this scenario against you.
Yeah.
You're facing Aaron Judge, and it's the leadoff. We'll put him in the leadoff spot, whatever. No
Yeah.
one's on base. So you open the game. This is to set the tone. Do you have an idea of maybe a pitch sequence or something that you'd want to throw him, and just a game plan for that at bat?
If I'm facing like a really good hitter in a big spot, I really just like to go to what I think is my best pitches and what works the best. I've kind of been shying away from like looking at what they hit best
Okay.
because I feel like I mean, it makes sense obviously, but I feel like sometimes if you look at that, it's like, yeah, they hit changeups the best, but they've never seen my changeup from the right side when they're a righty. Like that's probably thinking like they hit decent lefty changeups pretty well. So I don't know. I would probably throw a first pitch change, and then depending on, I really don't like to think pitches ahead. Like depending on what happens, if it's an ugly swing, I might go back to it. But I think I might stay away from the slider against him. I might just go like change here, change or something like that. But yeah,
I like that game plan. I think that could throw someone off. Level
yeah,
changing and velocity changing might throw someone off like that. So that's the first rapid fire question. And next, we're gonna get into a little series. Shout out to Bad Boys because they asked this to a lot of players. So I'll start asking this. We'll start with like Pre-game, who's your favorite artist or song to listen to pre-game?
I kind of like to get in like a competitive mindset, and I feel like the things that get me there are like either rap or just like straight like EDM.
Okay.
But it's like I really don't listen to that outside of baseball, which is kind of weird. Like I really like Travis Scott pregame, but like outside I kind of just listen to like country or like indie music. So it's definitely a different like kind of vibe, but I feel like that gets me more locked in. So I'd go Travis Scott or I don't know what kind of EDM artist, but just something like house music, you know?
Okay. That's interesting. I like that. I like
Yeah.
that vibe. I feel like
Just
that
something
just
with
like
bass and something loud, you know?
just gets you flowing. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we have that. Then favorite like celebration, like whether it's a strikeout celebration or like one of your teammates, like so like if there's like a hit celebration, home run celebration, favorite celebration.
Favorite celebration. Um I don't know. I don't think about celebrations, you know? It's like it's a big moment and you get the strikeout and then I feel like it's kind of quiet for a second because no one really like registers it before you do. And then it's
Mhm.
just kind of emotion just comes out. I don't know. I usually just like scream, maybe like a fist pump, but not many audible words come out, I feel like.
I get it. All right. So favorite post game meal, post game win. The boys are going out to get something to eat. Where are we picking?
Probably like sushi. I'd love to go like downtown and like get sushi after a game. I feel like that'd be really cool.
Here we go. Like
Yeah.
that. I gotta make it to a home series so I can get some sushi.
Yeah, they got you gotta go to Oku downtown. It's super nice.
I'll I'll make it. I'll make the trip.
Check
And
that out.
then last but not least, outside of baseball, favorite like activity or anything, favorite thing to do outside of baseball.
I like video games a lot. I've been getting into the guitar recently. I've been trying to learn it for like 6 months now. So I'm starting to get to the point where it's fun because I'm starting to like pick it up and actually play stuff that doesn't sound horrible. So I'd say, yeah, most of the time I just pick up the guitar or like play some video games.
What games are you on?
I in high school I played an insane amount of Fortnite, but now I probably just play like Warzone. We have this setup at one of the baseball houses where it's literally just like four monitors next to each other with like all our fucking like PS4s and we all just play Warzone as a squad. So that's fun.
That's fun. All right.
Yeah.
That's all I got for you. Before I do the outro, I always ask everyone if they have anything that they want to say to anybody watching, anybody that they want to send it to. I can clip it up if you want to make a joke to someone or anything at all. But any words you have before we wrap up.
I don't got if I think of someone, I'll let you know. But I just want to come on here and just have an interview or just talk to you. I mean, I appreciate you having me on here.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, safe to say it was a good episode and hopefully we'll be seeing you back on in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if not on Zoom, possibly in Santa Barbara next year. We'll
Yeah,
see.
bro. You should make it out.
I will stay in contact with you and work that out with you and that'll be something really sick if we can get that done and
Yeah.
get a post game sushi.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you again for coming on, guys. I'm gonna link Tyler's Instagram in the description. Go check him out, follow him. What's a goal you want to hit? Because I don't have a ton of people watching me, but if we hit a follow goal, I'll like, give something away with the sponsor. What's something that
Well,
you want to get?
for my account,
Yeah, if we get you to like 1,500 in the
yeah,
next.
that would be sick.
All right, if we could push them to 1,500. I don't know. Say this will be out Wednesday, the 31st. So 2 weeks after that. So if it could go August 13th, I think that would be. If we can get Tyler to 1,500 by August 13th, I'll give something away. I'll announce it somewhere. I'll figure out what that is and we'll get that done. But let's get him to 1500 and work that out. Thanks for watching, everyone. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow both of us down in the description. And this is a great episode, and we'll be back soon.